O tēnā koe, kia ora koutou katoa whānau. Welcome along, ko Quentin Kotoko Ingoa, he hononga o Te Raki Northern Regional Alliance, ACE RMO, e mahi ahau. Today's webinar is brought to you by Lakes District Health Board, particularly Rotorua Hospital. Thank you very much all for coming along and attending live, or if you're watching it later on our Facebook or YouTube streams, we hope you get some really good benefit from our videos. So this afternoon's webinar, I'd just like to hand over to our team at Rotorua Hospital. So Carleen, if you can introduce your team and your whānau, that would be fantastic.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carleen, the medical staff recruiter here at Lakes DHB. So your first point of contact in your ACE applications. To my left here, I've got Calvin Reddy, who is a PGY2, Tawa Hunter, a PGY2, and Amy Catulo, who is one of our pre-vocational supervisors and a paediatrician.
Kia ora. Hi, my name is Holly Wilson. I'm a PGY1 at Rotorua Hospital. Currently I'm on the medical unit and previously finished my orthopaedic run. I chose to work at Rotorua Hospital because I heard that it has been really well supported, as well as it's got lots of really great outdoor activities such as the redwoods, multiple lakes, and we've got a really good work-life balance here. We've also got a great medical management unit who abide by the 10-4 roster, which is also really good. And I've really enjoyed my first few months working here at Lakes DHB. I plan on working here next year as well.
Hello, I'm Korero, PGY2 at Rotorua Hospital, currently working in the orthopaedic unit. I chose to come to Lakes DHB as a PGY1 because it's got a great reputation for teaching and work-life balance. The main benefits of working here, you've got the lovely outdoor stuff to do, so if you're a keen mountain biker or if you want to go out to the lakes and that sort of thing. Workload's pretty reasonable here, so most days you start from just around 8 and you're normally able to get away from work by 4. You only have to work 1 in 4 weekends, give or take, and over those times you're quite well supported by senior staff.
Hey, my name's Tim. I'm one of the medical registrars here in Rotorua Hospital. I'm in my 3rd year now. I guess a little bit biased because I'm from Rotorua, grew up near and went to school here. But coming back to this hospital was easily the best medical decision I've ever made. The staff here are all wonderful. It's a great place to learn. Not too big that you get lost in the shuffle, but not small enough that you don't get exposure to medical things. So I mean, if you choose to come to Rotorua, it's definitely one of the best things you'll do. Everyone here is great. We've got the redwoods. The hospital here has heaps of social sport teams, touch, basketball, netball.
Hi, I'm Sneha. I'm currently a PGY2. I chose to come to Rotorua in my 1st year of working because I really wanted to come to a smaller centre, and I heard that it was really friendly, and it's been an amazing experience so far. All the bosses are really friendly, and it's a great work-life balance, so I recommend it. Advice for applying to Lakes DHB or Rotorua Hospital. So I think it's probably a good idea if you come in and see our medical management unit personally. Definitely
pop on through some stages during the year and show your face around. It's a very friendly community and they want to make sure that each applicant would fit in here, so that's the main thing.
Previously in the past it's been quite popular among the TIs to apply here, but we're also making space for our Otago grads as well as people from other hospitals.
Come join, lots of fun, it'll be sweet.
So that's it, I think.
So just letting you know a little bit about us. Julie Gibbs isn't here this afternoon. She's our RMO coordinator. So once you're employed, she's your go-to for everything, a bit like the mother hen at the place. So unfortunately, she's had to leave early today. So we'll just pop on to the next screen. So yeah, welcome to Rotorua. Lakes DHB is located in the Central Bay of Plenty. So we take on 13 PGY1s each year. In your 1st year, you will generally do an orthopaedic run, surgical, medical, and we do try and start our PGY1s on community-based attachments in the 1st year. If you don't get one of those done in your 1st year, you will get it in your 2nd year. And once you hit a PGY2, we open up the opportunities to do ED, ONG, and PEDS. Now, each of those runs are for a 6-month period, and you're also required to do a reliever run in your second year. So you're only going to get one of the 6-month attachments, as well as having to do a reliever run in one of the other things. One of them is ICU, which is what Tawa is doing at the moment. We're a very small, friendly hospital that provides a lot of hands-on learning. So our junior RMOs have a very good collegial relationship with the consultants within the hospital here. We're a small, unique rural training hospital right in the middle of the North Island, for those that don't know where we're situated. It's only about a 2-hour drive down to the mountains. We've got 26 lakes, I believe, surrounding our district. So after work, you can pop out to the lakes and weekend, that sort of thing. Lots of water activities. We've got some of the world's best mountain biking tracks within like a couple of minutes drive. Everyone's always out in the redwoods. We've got the stunning redwood forest with multiple walking tracks and riding tracks, as well as like tree walks where you're walking in between the trees, and there's beautiful lanterns in the forest at night that you can go and check out. We're only an hour's drive to Mount Maunganui or Hopi Beach, so certainly for those of you that are into surfing and that kind of thing, you're not going to be stuck without your surfboard because it's not too far to go. And the real perks of Rotorua is that we're centrally located, so it's close to get everywhere that you want to go. In terms of the training and teaching, we've got protected, uninterrupted training time allocated each week to the PGY1s and PGY2s. So I believe you turn your pages off during that time. Yeah, so their pages are all off during that time, so they can just focus on their learning. Grand rounds are held every Friday here, which everyone's encouraged to attend. And there's lots of teaching, very hands-on teaching offered by all the consultants with our junior staff. So what makes you a successful candidate when applying to Rotorua? We do require a visit if possible. We encourage everyone to come and see us. It's a great way to come and meet us. We get a feel for who you are, show you around the place. You get to have a good look at what's available in Rotorua and see if it's going to suit your lifestyle, work environment. If you can't come, I would highly recommend making contact with me, and we can set up a WhatsApp video call. When you're actually applying, a personalised cover letter is a must. We actually won't consider your application if the letter comes as a generic letter. So if you're wanting to come here, you need to tell us who you are, a bit about yourself, and why it is that you want to be here. So all of your scores are taken into account, and we do like to have grads from both universities. So yeah, we've had a strong cohort from Otago come visit us already this year, which has been really great to see. And we take the time for one of our pre-vocational supervisors to hopefully join in with those meetings as well, so that they can give you a bit of direction and where you want to go. So here's a summary of what we're going to take into consideration. So visit is our must. So that's our top priority, is a visit or some sort of contact where we can have an informal interview. Your cover letter outlaying everything that you've done, what your interests are, your tie to the region, community involvements, any scholarships that you've got, your transcripts, referee reports, ACE scores, your non-academic achievements. So just remember to include those as well, and a bit of a personal statement about who you are and why you would think that you're a good fit for Lakes DHB. So that's our presentation just on the Lakes. What I'm going to do is hand you over to Amy now to talk a little bit about her involvement as a pre-vocational supervisor.
So kia ora, nice to meet everyone across the screens. So I'm a new pre-vocational supervisor here in Rotorua, and essentially we have pretty close contact with our junior doctors. We get to know you very well and really enjoy getting to know you guys and helping you through the first 2 years of your training. And what that looks like on a more formal basis is when you first start here, we meet with you within the first week or two, and then on a quarterly basis, towards the end of your first rotation and the beginning of your second rotation, every rotation will meet with you and go through your training requirements, how you're doing, and support you if there's any hurdles that you're going through. That's more formal, but on an informal basis as well. If there are things that you struggle with along the way, if there's speed bumps that you hit, then that's what we're here for, to help you through those, point you in the right direction. And then in addition to that, as the pre-vocational supervisors, there's 4 of us. So Mandy, Mazen, David and myself. And we meet on a weekly basis with you. So we have a roster and we take turns every Wednesday for an hour. We meet with, as a cohort, the PGY1 group. And really, once again, it's to touch base, see how things are going, support you if there's challenges that you're going through. But also, we've started to do some more informal teaching around how to deliver bad news and how to build confidence in your medical skills and things like that. So yeah, that's us as pre-vocationals. And I guess the main thing that I want to emphasize is, as Carly said, is we we want to have PGY1s from across the country. And so both Otago and Auckland, please apply. And please be honest in your application as well. We really want to get to know you as people. And so, yeah.
Tēnā tātou katoa, ko taua hau no te whānau apanui. Being brought up here in Te Aroa, went away to study and came back to Rotorua as PGY1. I guess it depends on what you're looking for when you go into a hospital, but for me here, it's the people that have been amazing. It's a small hospital, so it doesn't take you very long to get to know everybody in every department, all of the consultants, all of the medical management. And that means that they all become really approachable for you for various things. For me, started a bit later, so I'm a bit older and I've got kids and a family at home. So there's been times when I've needed extra support to help me along the way, and that's always been available. I just have to ring these guys, or Julie, or my pre-vocational supervisor, and they've really helped me out along the way. Most of our consultants love to teach, and as I say, they're so available that you get out of it what you want out of it, really. But at the moment I'm on ICU and I have the whole ICU ward to myself. So it's only me and the consultant every day and all our patients. There's no registrar. If there's any procedural stuff that needs to be done, I can get in there and do an outline or a central line if I want. Those are the kinds of things you get to do here as a PGY1 or 2. Rotorua is cool. We've got a lot of, it's obviously the mecca of Māori here. So we've got lots of different cultural experiences here, have a lot of Māori patients, and have a strong presence within the hospital of Te Ao Māori and Māori support. We have Manawa Po here, who, if you have any Māori patients, they're there to support them and support you as a doctor with tikanga Māori or anything that you need. And that's really helpful and really useful on both sides. Okay.
So I'm Calvin, I'm one of the PGY2s. I actually never came to Rotorua before I was a doctor. I did all my training in Auckland, Middlemore, North Shore, Auckland. I got told when I was at Auckland, essentially it's best to go to a rural hospital for experiences. And I chose Rotorua because I knew some people who had worked here and I thought it was nice. It was kind of central because I lived in Auckland, so it's easy to go back and forth. So I think it's kind of, you've always got told when I was in mid school that where you TI, it's going to be a higher chance where you get a job, like you can pretty much get a job anywhere. So I think that's pretty good. I think overall it was the best decision I ever made to come to Rotorua. I actually love working at this hospital. As Amy said, your pre-vocational supervisors at this hospital are amazing, really. You can pretty much talk to them about anything. It doesn't have to be related to medicine. For example, because I moved to Rotorua, I'd never been here essentially, I was completely new to the area. My supervisor helped me in ways not related to medicine as well, which I thought was awesome. Very, very supportive. You can call them and talk to them anytime. Sometimes I'll talk to my supervisor at 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday, and I'll text him.
Well, we don't recommend that.
But like, hey, you text him on a Saturday, and he's completely fine with it. And just do it. So obviously, it's not all the time; it's occasionally. In regards to experience, what you get out of it, I think, as Tara said, you get as much as you want out of it as you do. As like, the workload is not very intensive overall, which means that your learning opportunities are very, very high. Essentially, if you just want to cruise through it, which I wouldn't suggest, you can just do your work and go home. But if you want to do procedures and learn more medical stuff, you can. For example, I think, well, I've been a house officer now for a year and 1 quarter. And in that time, I've been to theatre, I can't count how many times. I've closed abdomens, I've helped remove appendixes. When I did some time on ICU when Tara was away, I got to put an art line in, I've done bronchoscopies. Yeah, you just get so much experience if you come here. Essentially, it's as much as you put into it. It's really supportive as well. Everywhere I think you're going to work, it's going to be hard in your first couple of quarters. But like, for example, you won't do nights in your first 2 quarters. And by the time you get onto like 6 months, you'll be pretty good for nights. And even then, it's really supportive. There's so much help available. And as Tara was saying, because it's such a small hospital, you get to know the bosses really well. And I'd say 99% of them are really nice and very easy to talk to. You never feel dumb when you ask a question. And all your registrars are really nice. You become friends with all of them. You'll go social events with them. And it creates a real collegial vibe. So I feel like you never feel in this hospital like no one's got your back. It's really easy. You know, no one's going to let you down, and you don't want to let down other people. So everyone works together really well as a team, and therefore it's really good for patient outcomes as well. Yeah, so I just think it's the best hospital. I don't think there's any other hospital I would have worked at. And then also going past your house officer years, it gives a lot of opportunities there as well. You could do PEDS, you could do your PEDS diploma, you could do ONG, you could do your ONG diploma. Pretty easy to become a medical registrar here because most of our registrars are quite junior, so it's a good place to step up to. They know you're junior, so they don't expect you to have that much knowledge. And same with surgery and orthopedics, it's really easy to step up to being a registrar here from those sort of facilities as well.
I've been told to pass on from the current PGY1s when I asked them today, so is there anything bad about Rotorua? And so I'm going to be honest, the one thing they said everything is great from our current group, but the only thing that's bad is the cafeteria food. So, so just being honest with that. And so in the scheme of life, that's very minor.
We appreciate your honesty on that one. Anything further that you wanted to add at the DHB? And just while you think of anything to say, I'll just let the students know who are watching to type in your questions using the Q&A function, and we'll answer them one by one this evening.
We do have free parking here, Quinton, so that is a plus.
Yep.
So the parking is free, and I mean, there's a lot of people that actually just like to work because, you know, even from sort of the furthest parts of Rotorua, most of the time it only takes about 7 minutes to drive to work on a good day when there's not road work. So everything is relatively close to work, so you can bike, and yeah, there's free parking for all your vehicles and that kind of thing. So, and the bike storage and that kind of thing.
That is one of the things that drew me to Rotorua from 3 years ago was I would leave home at 7:50 to be at handover at 8 o'clock compared to leaving home at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So we've got one question. Tawa and Calvin, have you done your community runs yet, and how were those?
Yeah, I didn't do my community run in my first year. I did it at the start of this year, and so there's 2 community runs. I did community psych, which I think was, at first I was like, oh, it's a bit scary, but I really enjoyed it. So what you do is you work as a almost psychiatric registrar, but it's really well supported. You review your own patients, you come up with plans, you talk to the consultants about it, and then go from there. It's pretty much based in the hospital, but you go to people's houses, and it was really good. It's quite relaxed, and you learn a lot of psychiatry from it. So
I did GP in PGY1 and I did that out in Rotorua, which was an amazing experience. It's a little way out of town, it's about a 40-minute drive. You can have the choice of staying out there if you like, but I was given a DHB car to drive out there every day, which is lovely. It's got Bluetooth and everything. Jam out to my radio on the way out. But Rotorua is very, very isolated, rural community. The health is at extremes. You have some really healthy 100-year-olds, and then you have just really, really sick people out there. They've got a dedicated team of doctors who have been in the community for 40+ years and do amazing things out there. So it's really, really good for learning, and probably learning that you wouldn't get elsewhere. It's quite a unique group of people with a unique group of doctors. And I'm just trying to think of some things that happened out there, but actually one of our colleagues, just to give you kind of an example of what it's like out there, one of our colleagues, I was reading through some notes, a patient that was coming in, and the last time she had been, one of our colleagues had been out there, and his notes just said, she's turned up with a baby with the umbilical cord still attached to her. And he had to get the other doctor to come in. So you see some crazy things out there. Yeah, so it was my community run was really good.
So in terms of the community-based attachments, we've got Rotorua Medical Centre, which is in quarters 1 and 3 generally, and then Ranolf Medical Centre, which is quarters 2 and 4. We've got Pihanga Health down in Turangi. So we've got a home down there that they stay at for the duration. They come back on the weekends if they need to. We've also got a new community-based attachment this year, which is actually down at our rural hospital in Taupo. So quarters 2 and 3 are based down there. And again, they live at the hospital down there in a hospital home for the duration of their community-based attachment. And then of course, we've got the community psych here in Rotorua as well.
The next question is, more specifically, what is wrong with the cafeteria food?
I would just say you never quite know what you're getting. I got spinach and feta wrap once, but the feta was actually mashed potato.
Yeah, but they do actually have sushi though that they bring in from outside. Yeah. So if you're early enough, you can get sushi and you know you're getting something good. So yeah, it's not. Some days it's great. Fish and chips every Friday. I mean, everyone seems to really like that, and they do things like what are those things called? The lamb. No, you know that. No, the lamb shanks in winter. They did that last winter. They were pretty nice though. Yeah. Hit and miss.
This is a bit of an expansion.
Are there any cafes outside of the hospital itself that they can go to?
Yeah. Fabulous one, just down the bottom of the hill. It's like a 2-minute walk, and it's amazing. And we get like if you're buying a meal and things there, if you show your DHB cards, you get a free coffee and things like that. So, and they do lots of rewards here. You know that. Yeah, if you're buying a meal, you get a free coffee. So you just show your DHB cards, you've got a free coffee to go with your meal. Yeah.
So this is an expansion on the community placement. So there's 2 questions here around that. So how many GP placements are there? Where are they? Which you've already answered. And who are you under? And I guess who's your supervisor within the
the GP, the doctors within the GPs, they're your supervisors, aren't they, for that time? Yeah.
Hopefully that's answered that question. And in Tupua Hospital, the community rotation in Tupua Hospital, I guess.
That's done through Mariska, who's the head of the department down there. So the next question is, how do you feel about paired applications? That's absolutely fine. We get lots of paired applications. So do be honest with us and let us know that you are a couple, because if you're not a couple, we're not going to consider your applications together. Whereas if you're a couple, we'll put you both together in the pile and we'll actually consider you as one. So you get considered to come here together, because we're not going to split you up. So that's all good.
Yeah, and just remember that every single part of their application applying as a pair needs to be indicated in the ACE application, which means that all preferences need to be exactly the same as well. And you need to clearly indicate that you're applying as a pair with your partner as well. So that's the only way that you'll be able to be highlighted to a DHB, get your appeared application, in addition to what Carleen is saying as well, once we've sent them there.
Okay, the next question I think I can answer. Does Lakes DHB consider individual applications or any other alternative ways to apply other than through ACE? No, we don't. It all needs to be done through ACE matching. It's all above board, so that it's all done correct.
So a few more on community rotations. Do you get any choice in which one you do?
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, so in terms of your community-based attachments and do you get any choice, you can, when we first do an offer, we will put a list on the back of your offer letter that says what your preference is and how everything's going to work. But what basically happens is in PGY 1, you're not going to get a community-based attachment for your very first run. We will always send our PGY 2 applicants off to those positions initially, just so that you're not thrown in the deep end, so you've got some support and guidance to get you up to where you need to be. Because we've got minimal community-based attachments, we're probably one of the only hospitals that can get all of our PGY 1s and 2s through a community-based attachment within their first 2 years, which is the medical council requirement. A lot of places are lucky if they get 4 people through in a year when they've got like 70 applicants, so we're quite lucky in that regard, which is why we've added the extra 2 runs to Taupo now, just so that we can get everyone through. So if you've specified that psych is something that you're interested in, we'll try and do psych. Other than that, it's pretty much potluck as to where you're going to go. Everyone's applications that are successful get allocated a letter, and wherever those letters sit in each run is basically where you're going to end up. So we don't like PGY 1s and 2s to swap runs with other people, because we're giving you specific runs for a purpose, and that is to achieve your learning that you need to do. Taupo, is there a chance? So we've got a question. Speaking of Taupo, is there a chance other than the community-based runs to be based there? So Taupo, we actually have a rural hospital registrar. Those are appointed for 6 months of the year. So the first 6 months and second 6 months. So you can do that from PGY 3 onwards if that's what you want to do. And the bulk of the time is spent in ED as opposed to the wards when you're in Taupo.
Can I say something about placements? EMU like really tries to give you the placements that you want. I think it's like very, very rare that anyone gets a placement that they did not want. Like they try really, really hard to get you exactly what you want. It's like I think in our year tower, I don't think there's anyone who didn't get the ones they wanted. Yeah.
We do put a lot of emphasis in it. And I mean, even when you're going into year 2, it's done really fairly where everyone puts their references, ranks them from top to bottom of what you want. Their names are all drawn out of a hat. They're given a number. The first person's reference, first person that's pulled out, their first picks, we give that to them, and we go down the list, and then we go through the second picks as we go down the list, so that it's all done really fairly and try and accommodate so that everyone's getting at least their first pick in some part of the year. So we do put a lot of emphasis on that.
Can they do more than one community placement per year?
No, you can only do one community-based placement, and that is for the pure fact is we've got 13 juniors, so within the 2 years we get all 26 doctors through a community-based attachment, so you only get one community-based attachment during PGY 1 or 2.
And what SHO positions what are the SHO positions available? What SHO jobs are?
So the SHO jobs that we've got is of course your ED. So in PGY 2 there are 4 they're SHO roles, but we call them house officer ED. So there's 4 of those runs. So there's 4 for the first half of the year and 4 for the second half of the year. There is ONG. Again, there's only one PGY 2 that gets ONG for the first 6 months and for the second 6 months, and same in PEDS. And that's simply for the fact that PEDS is quite a popular run, and there's a lot of people that are wanting to do their diplomas. So because you're inexperienced going into PEDS, we only have 1 in each 6 months doing their diplomas and that kind of thing, just so they've got the right support and also the right amount of, I guess, care on the wards to ensure the patient safety and that kind of thing.
And are the ED positions for PGY 1 or PGY 2?
Those are for PGY 2. So like I said, there's 4 PGY 2 positions in ED for the first 6 months and the second 6 months. And you've done ED?
No, ED next.
So ED next? Have you done ED? No. So I mean, there is lots of training and things in ED. and everyone does ED training as well. Yeah, that's done on a regular basis.
Our ED is actually real awesome. That's one of the reasons I came here. But as a junior, as PGY2, you're allowed to see up to essentially triage ones. So there's so much room for learning. I don't think you'd be able to do it as a PGY1. I just don't think you have the knowledge base yet. But as a PGY2, it's really well supported, and I'm really looking forward to it because everyone I know who's done it so far, their knowledge just like skyrockets. So I think it's a big reason why I consider coming here, because not many hospitals offer you ED and PGY2.
Yeah. So we've got a question. What is our pay category for PGY1s? That is a D category. I understand that Lakes DHB does not accept late starters. Does the application not get considered at all, even if it's placed in preference? Because we only have 13 PGY1 positions, we can't consider late starters simply for the fact is we've got a roster that we need to cover, and we can't leave the rest of the team picking up the slack if there's no one there to cover them. And the next question is there an anaesthetic SHO position? No, there's not. There's actually an anaesthetics ICU position, which is what Tawa is currently doing at the moment, and that is a PGY2 run. So PGY1 won't get it. We've actually only got 2 anaesthetic registrars, and both of them are on the training program. So even to move to an anaesthetic registrar, you need to apply to be on the training program through Waikato DHB, and those applications are all done there and then come through to us.
Is it possible to apply in PGY2 if PGY1 is done elsewhere?
We unfortunately won't look at your application unless you've already done a community-based attachment, because of the requirement to do a community-based attachment. Unless you've done that elsewhere, we won't look favourably on taking someone on into a PGY2 if they haven't already done that. So if you can do your PGY1 community-based attachment wherever you are and want to move, then that's probably the only way we're going to look at it, because we've got a lot of doctors out there that want to come and work here as a PGY2, and we want to make sure that everyone meets their requirements with the medical council.
Just wanted to ask, I know I've got a couple of Australian grads on here. What's the opportunities like for Australian grads applying to New Zealand for a position at Lakes, and what would they do?
We actually had one last year who actually lives in Rotorua and went over there and did their degree, and they applied. They were ranked quite highly, but because they fall into the different category, they still didn't get the job here. So because they fall into a different tier as far as ACE is concerned, and because we have quite high numbers of people actually wanting to come to Lakes DHB, unfortunately, yeah, if you're not a tier 1, there's very little chance that you're going to get in, just because of the success rate of people that do want to come here.
Do you guys hire many people from the talent pool during Q2, 3 and 4?
Yes, we've just taken on one from the talent pool just recently, and we did take on a couple of NZ Rexes last year as well, before, when the talent pool was empty. So, you know, our talent pool 1 has just started and she's loving it, and she's now been offered a job for the remainder of the year. The next question, is it right that you can do 2 of 3 junior medical registrar years in Rotorua?
So they're talking about basic training. Yes, you can. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's a question that we can or should answer. That's more related to your training requirements with the college.
We have got some that are on the training program that has been here for quite some time now and have just recently joined the training program. So they're now starting to move on. But yes, I mean, you can do Reg 1 and Reg 2 and then sort of move on. So that's not an issue, but we just don't want people to be stagnant, not go anywhere with their careers.
We certainly, from a paediatric perspective, we have several junior registrars and junior registrars who have passed the exam successfully. So, and Carleen, a ballpark figure to buy a house?
It depends what you're after. If you're wanting to do a ripper, you might be able to get one for sort of $450. And to buy one that you want to move into, anything up to sort of 800,000 could get you a nice-ish house. Yeah, would that be about right? Who's looked?
Yeah. If you want a lakefront one, it might be a bit more.
Yeah.
What about rental opportunities for people moving from outside of the region?
We have no problems with that at all, because all the doctors, a lot of them tend to live together, and when someone moves on, their room becomes available, and I get people ringing me every day without fail saying, we've got a house available, it's fully furnished, can you put some doctors in it, because they all think doctors are wonderful tenants. So there's never really an issue. No one's really homeless at all. We put you up for 2 weeks accommodation when you first come here, so that gives you time to meet a few people within the hospital. Every time someone new starts, I take them around the hospital and introduce them to absolutely everybody. So at lunchtime, I'll take them into the cafe and plonk them down at a table and say, hey, this is so-and-so, start chatting. So yeah, they get to meet everyone by name, and you build relationships pretty quickly, and it's not hard to find somewhere to live. Yeah.
Great.
So what social sports groups are available?
You guys
throughout the
for this?
hospital?
Beer pong?
Yeah, I think phones kind of messed up a little bit, but before we have social football team, we have a social volleyball team. I think there used to be basketball, but we haven't done it this year because of COVID.
There's a dedicated quiz team.
Yeah, that's true.
Every
It's quiz team
week.
every Thursday.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's more than one team and they fight each other. It's pretty funny. And you hear about it all the next day.
Lots of people go running together.
Yeah, there's running club on
mountain
Friday
biking.
mornings.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. That's something that is really awesome in Rotorua, is that we actually have free running clubs, and so you can train to do the marathon and do the marathon here in Rotorua. Maybe you might have to pay $20 or $40, something ridiculous. But I remember being in Auckland and looking for a club, and it was like $1,500. But we get to do stuff like that here for free, and it's a really awesome group. It's been going forever. They have lots of social events, and you can just come and go as you please.
It's also the hospital ball.
Yep.
So usually,
Oh yeah,
RMO ball.
yeah. Hey,
That's
SMOs go to
Oh
it.
yes, it's called the RMO ball, but everyone, everyone's invited. It's all
Yeah.
good fun. Yeah.
And then there's the social club as well.
Yeah.
And they organise events. But then again, like, you don't really need it because I feel like you just know every doctor in the hospital. I don't think there's anyone in the hospital
Yeah, we
who I
all do
wouldn't
our
know.
own things as well. Yeah.
So you can like just hang out with whoever, really.
And like every Thursday night in Rotorua, if the weather's fine, there is a night market, which is just amazing. And I mean, you go down there on any given Thursday night, and it's just like half the hospitals there. I walk around with my kids, and they're like, Mum, you know everyone. I'm like, they're doctors, because everyone's down there having dinner together. And often, last time I was there was a group of about 20 doctors having dinner together down there. So I don't know who was working, but everyone was at the night market having a great time, and it's really social. And yeah. But they do like, river floats. They were trying to organise that this year, but again, that got called off during the Auckland lockdown. They were doing a river float from one of the lakes through into the river and into the next lake sort of thing. Yeah. We are a pretty open book here. So, I mean, if anyone's got any questions that they want to know, fire them through to me. My email address was on the slideshow that we did initially. So, yeah, I mean, anything you want to know, just send it through and we'll happily answer.
Weird question. What is the average age experience range of the consultants? Look, I'm an anomaly.
It's probably you now.
So I'm one of the youngest consultants. So I'm 37. And I've been doing pediatrics since 2009. 11 years, 12 years. And so I'm one of the youngest consultants. Most consultants vary from, I'd say, early 40s to 60s. However, I must say that several of my, especially pediatric colleagues who are consultants, have just turned 50 or closer to 60. And they can lap most 20-year-olds on a mountain bike and are very, very young at heart. So even the older kind of consultants
They're all pretty fit.
Are fit and fun.
Yeah.
I'd say.
So there's another question here, which has just come through saying that they may have missed out earlier as joined a little late, but do you do interviews before applications? Yes, we do like to do. They're not formal interviews, they're very much an informal interview where we get a feel for who you are, you tell us a little bit about yourself, why you want to be here. So if you can come and see us, please do come and see us. That is one of our requirements to get you into the selection process for us. If you can't see me, please make contact with me and we can do a WhatsApp video call. We like to have a face to the name, so we just yeah, just see what we can work. We just had another question. Do we do visits on the weekend? We don't generally, but it's me, and sometimes I can be free. So it depends where you're coming from and whether I can make that work. But just let me know and I can see what I can do to accommodate you. Got a family, so I mean, if we can do it in the weeks. On a Monday, if you've been for a weekend, I do work till 4:45. On a Friday, I'm only here till 3, so I go and get the kids. So yeah, I mean, if you're here for a weekend and you want to catch up on a Monday and then shoot off early Monday morning, that would work well. So that is more preferable to a weekend if we could. It's just really, I think, you know, a really great place to work, a great environment. You know, like these guys have said, there's lots of support, great social life. Well, not so much of a nightlife, but they tend to make their own entertainment. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the good thing as well is I think you're quite an approachable team as well. So I know that a lot of the TIs would enjoy that, and also the collegial environment that you have at Lakes DHB.
I mean, I can see when they come into the office. I mean, the RMOs mean heaps to all of us. You know, we kind of treat them all like their family. We've got photos of them all up on our wall, and you know, it's just we try and always be available and make it a fun time for them. And I mean, our orientation, that's something they should know. Our orientation goes for a full week. Heaps of fun. They make fools out of themselves. They have to do a case race on the first 2 days. At the end of it, once they've scooted around the hospital and done all their chores, they come back in. We've got boxes of props for them. They dress up. We've got heels and hats and bows and gloves and all sorts of things. They then put on a presentation for us, and we get people in to watch them put on their performance and give prizes for the winning team. We go to a lot of effort here of getting like goodies for them for when they start. Like they all get a really awesome goodie bag. We've got so many vouchers. We just hit people up and we get vouchers for them. They win restaurant vouchers. I think the winning team last year got a $300 voucher for one of the restaurants for dinner. The second prize got like a $200 voucher for a pub, which didn't go astray. And then they also get individual vouchers that we get as well from everyone. So we really go out of our way to make them feel really welcome. And yeah, they get their goodie bags full of chocolates and things like that. And they're just like, oh my goodness, it's amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you graduate and then you become this doctor and you have this whole week of just fun.
Yeah.
And you think, man, I'm getting paid. You're getting paid. You're getting paid to have this really cool week. It's a really nice introduction.
And we have a mid-eye stay on the first night. We have a barbecue with the pre-vocationals. So our teams will go to the pre-vocationals. We swap it around each other's houses, just depending on whose turn it is each year. And yeah, I mean, this year it was a rainy afternoon, and we sort of include the PGI 1s, PGI 2s, and the 2s going into 3, so that it's sort of like a farewell for them. We give out prizes like, you know, who's voted for by their co-workers and that kind of thing, as to who's done really well for the year. And yeah, you just sort of start off with how we mean to go on.
Well, kia ora, moti korero, Kelvin, Tawa and Amy, and tēnā pai te mahi as well, Carleen. Thank you very much for presenting to our TIs this afternoon, and that is valuable information for them, and it was a nice, easy discussion and really good questions from the TIs.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks everyone for attending, and great questions. And yeah, like I say, we're here if you need us, and we look forward to hearing from you all.
Ka pai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, we've got one more question.
Oh, one question?
Oh,
thank you.